All right, good Sunday evening, everyone. We are tracking Hurricane Milton that is in the southwestern parts of the Gulf of Mexico here. As you can see on your screen here, the really strong thunderstorms really blown up over the past 3 to 4 hours. This thing is rapidly starting to strengthen, and we are getting really worried about the west coast of Florida as we go towards midweek. Thanks so much for watching us, by the way. Can you please hit that thumbs up button, that like button, comment where you're from, and please share this with your friends and family. We got to get the word out there because this is going to be a very nasty storm coming into the west coast of Florida with more surge, more nasty winds. It could be another $1 billion disaster here as we go into later this week into most of the Florida peninsula. All right, so let's get into the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Then we're going to look at tracks and possible hurricane intensity with Milton. Very busy time in the Atlantic. We now have three named hurricanes as of Sunday evening. Like I said, we have Kirk that's actually moving northeast. It's going to be heading towards basically England. And then we have Leslie moving basically northwest here. Going to be more of a northerly track here probably by the middle of the week. And, of course, Milton over here in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. So very active times in the Atlantic. So let's go over the latest information from the National Hurricane Center on Milton. All right, so here's the latest on Hurricane Milton. This is as of 10 p.m. Central on Sunday evening here. Max sustained winds are up to 90 miles per hour. Movement is east at 7. The storm's still moving at a basically snail's pace here. This thing is getting its act together very quickly, and rapid intensification is already starting to occur. This will be a major hurricane by tomorrow afternoon, probably tomorrow late afternoon into early evening, and then really ramp up. This thing will have a chance to hit Cat 5 status, I do believe. We've been talking about possible Cat 4, Cat 5 with this even before anybody was talking about it 3 to 4 days ago. We were talking about this. So, another major disaster for Florida. This is basically honing in right around the west coast of Florida, right around the central peninsula coast, the west coast of Florida here, right around Tampa Bay. So, you're probably wondering, why don't we have hurricane watches or anything like that up for Florida? It's because we're in a 3-day window here. So National Hurricane Center track error at day 3, which we are day 3 right now, is around 100 miles. So we can't get so focused on the exact middle ground of the track here just yet. There's going to be far-reaching effects regardless of this storm system. If it goes a little bit further north, goes a little bit further south, there's still going to be far-reaching effects across most of Florida Peninsula as we go in through Wednesday, Thursday morning, and then exiting the coast, becoming subtropical, but still going to be a pretty strong storm as it heads out to sea towards Bermuda by next weekend, possibly. But nasty storm surge coming already. There is a couple models out there that are throwing out 60 to 65 foot wave heights out here in the Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So there's going to be massive beach erosion already on the west coast of Florida before massive surge starts coming in to Florida. So we got to figure out if this does get to a Cat 5 status, the surge on the west coast of Florida is going to be ridiculously high. So we will have those values probably tomorrow as the hurricane watches and tropical storm watches come out for Florida as well. That is what the National Hurricane Center is saying. All right, so what's going to move Milton basically is there's going to be a mid-level trough that basically digs over the central Gulf over the next few days. This hurricane will be slowly going east, and then once this trough comes down into the central Gulf, it'll start picking up Hurricane Milton here and then driving it towards the coast of Florida with a more of a northeast turn, then eastward over the Atlantic waters as it exits Florida. So, like I said, the official track forecast follows basically the same. Basically, the last advisory about 7 o'clock advisory. But like I said, the reason why there's no hurricane watches out yet for the west coast of Florida because the average track error is at day 3 is around 100 miles. So, like I said, we can't focus so much on the track, but there's going to be wide range of impacts for Florida. They've already had tremendous amounts of rain and already had that Hurricane Helene came through as well. So there's already was lots of surge, lots of damage still getting cleaned up across the west coast of Florida, especially from Tampa northward. And then this is just really bad news coming towards the west coast of Florida. All right, here is a better graphic of Hurricane Milton. Like I said, as of 10 o'clock Central, 11 Eastern on Sunday evening. 90 mile per hour sustained wind hurricane at the moment, moving east at 7. It's going to be a major hurricane by Monday evening, 125 mile per hour, major Cat 3 hurricane by tomorrow evening. And then approaching Cat 4, or will be Cat 4 status by Tuesday evening, maybe even a Cat 5 by Tuesday evening. And then it's going to have a little bit more influence with this trough coming down from the central parts of the Gulf here, which will help with bringing a little bit more drier air and some shear with this hurricane. The bad news on that part, the hurricane will get bigger when that happens. Okay, so the winds will probably start coming down, but it's going to be too late. The wind field will actually expand out as it's starting to encounter shear. So, and some of that dry air. So, they're expecting, National Hurricane Center is expecting 115 mile per hour major Cat 3 hurricane as we head into landfall on Wednesday evening. Kind of slow over the peninsula and then exit out. Still going to be a subtropical hurricane on Tuesday evening, and then basically go out to sea as we go towards the weekend and maybe head towards Bermuda from there. So I was talking about wind shear. This is the current wind shear across the Gulf of Mexico. Like I said, southwestern Gulf through basically the southern Gulf all the way to the Keys. There's hardly any shear, so this is going to really rapidly intensify this hurricane. But as this trough slowly starts moving a little bit further south into the central Gulf, this is when this Hurricane Milton's going to be picked up, move more east-northeast, and then basically slam it right into the west coast of Florida as we go into Wednesday. And this shear will help weaken it a little bit, but like I said, the bad news is the hurricane will get bigger, and the wind field will basically spread out a little bit further as well. So that's just more bad news across parts of Florida as we go forward. All right, as of right now, here is the latest tracks. This is as of 00Z. So basically takes this storm slowly east, and as that trough comes down to the central Gulf of Mexico, start moving it more east, northeast, and then slamming it right into the central west central coast of the peninsula of Florida here. And like I said, the bullseye right now is right around the Tampa area as of the center of circulation. But like I said, there's going to be wide range of impacts across the whole Florida peninsula because of the size of this system. All right, so they are, I know the Florida Emergency Management came out earlier, said they're prepping for the largest evacuation in parts of the state since 2017. So you need to stay up on local officials. If they tell you all to leave, prep your houses and get out. This is a very nasty storm that's going to be coming into the region of Florida here over the next few days. All right, here is the latest guidance for Hurricane Milton. This is all the hurricane models combined. A lot of models getting it up into the higher end Cat 3, Cat 4, even some getting up all the way up into Cat 5 and a little bit exceeding that threshold of 100 and I believe it's 157, 158 miles per hour up that way. So this is very bad news. This could be a major Cat 4 by this time tomorrow, maybe even early on Tuesday, and then maybe ramping up to Cat 5 by late Tuesday as well. So this has a lot of room to intensify very fast across the area. Heck, this time yesterday, we were barely even talking about a tropical depression, and this sucker's already a 90-mile-per-hour hurricane. So this thing is strengthening very fast across the Gulf of Mexico. Like I said earlier, the emergency management out of Florida said the state is preparing for the largest hurricane evacuation since 2017, when Hurricane Irma cut through the entire length of the Florida Peninsula from the Keys to Georgia. Now, this is not going to be coming up through Georgia. It's kind of going into basically almost a east-northeast fashion, just slamming into the west coast and then exiting on the east coast of Florida and then heading out to sea. So all of the Florida Peninsula will be under the gun here. Like I said, there's going to be wide range of impacts, and we're going to be with you every step of the way, especially over on Facebook as well. We'll have basically almost, we'll have updates every time the National Hurricane Center comes out with new watches, warnings, advisories, stuff like that. So if you want to follow us over on Facebook, that's a great way to find the latest information. We'll still have videos over here on YouTube as well to keep you informed of that. Alrighty, if you live in Florida, here's the disaster evacuation Florida from the Florida Department of Emergency Management. Know your zone. There's several different zones along the coast: A, B, B, C, D, E, F. Know if you live in an evacuation zone, you go to floridadisaster.org /know. You can find your evacuation zone there. They also have apps and stuff that'll notify you as well. So there's evacuation routes, plan your evacuation routes, and then as soon as evacuation order is issued, you need to just leave as soon as possible. Okay, so there's several evacuation orders already issued for parts of Florida. This is as of 10:55 Central on Sunday evening. So, Manatee County, evacuation info: evacuations of all persons in levels A and B, evacuation zones A and B, and all residents or visitors in RVs or mobile homes ahead of Hurricane Milton beginning at 2 p.m. Monday, October 7th. Pasco County, mandatory evacuations will go into effect Monday, October 7th at 10 a.m. for the following evacuation zones A and B. Everyone living in a manufactured home, mobile home, or RV, everywhere in Pasco County. Everyone in low-lying areas or areas prone to flooding. Everyone in an area ordered to evacuate by local authorities due to life safety hazards, and voluntary evacuations outside of those zones will go into effect Monday, October 7th at 10 a.m. as well. So this will be changing as we go through. I'm just giving you the latest information as of Sunday evening here at 10:45. So here's the next one. Pinellas County, mandatory evacuation is ordered for all residential healthcare facilities within evacuation zones A, B, and C. The evacuation is to commence at 1:30. That was on Sunday earlier today. So they're already starting to evacuate, mandatory evacuation of residential healthcare facilities in zones A, B, and C in Pinellas County as of right now. So that's all the evacuation orders there is at the moment as of Sunday evening. Like I said, stay up to date. You can go to floridadisaster.org /evacuation-orders. They'll show you all the evacuation orders as of right now. Like I said, know your zone know your evacuation zone in Florida Like I said, you can go to floridadisaster.org and go to /know your evacuation zone, and then you can go over to that same website and then do /evacuation-orders and see what evacuation counties and basically evacuation zones are being evacuated ahead of Hurricane Milton. This thing is going to be a monster, and by the time we talk, probably again tomorrow evening, this thing is going to be a major hurricane headed right towards Florida Gulf Coast. Thank you so much for watching. Stay prepared out there. Listen to your local authorities. We will have more on Facebook throughout the day tomorrow and have another video tomorrow night on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, everyone.